After watching this video, you will become the luckiest person you know. My name is Angelica, and if you know me in person, every single person tells me I am the luckiest person they know. If I walk onto a plane and there happens to be a free ticket in first class, I would be the person who the air hostess would come up to and say, "Ah, you look a little tired. Would you like the free upgrade to first class?" And I'm like, "Yes, thank you." And it will absolutely not surprise me. You know those competitions on Instagram when people say, don't bother entering them. No one actually wins them. You know who wins? Me. I win them. And I'm never surprised because I'm not saying this from a manifestation delusional point of view. I mean, actually, physically, I am always the luckiest person in the room. So I thought since I've been so lucky for basically my whole life, I would teach you my secrets because I didn't know that it was a thing. And I think I would be the poster child for lucky girl syndrome. Let's get into it. Let's talk about lucky girl syndrome. So, what is lucky girl syndrome? So, this is something that was coined, I guess, by these two girls on TikTok. If you've been on TikTok, then you know the video and you know what I'm talking about. But if not, it's basically just a new way to reframe the law of assumption. This is not some weird, like, woo woo, turn your crystals to the sun type of situation. It is just a scientific fact, and you probably already do it without knowing it. It doesn't matter what your religion is, and I'm just trying to break it down in easier terms to understand and ways that you can use it to your benefit. So, with the law of assumption, what you want to do is basically assume that always everything is always working out for you, and the best way to start believing it is to actually make it happen, and the way to make it happen is to start very small. And you can always look at this the other way around and think everything bad is always happening to you, and I'm sure you have lots of proof of that. That's also because of the law of assumption. But I think that if you're starting and you're trying to build up the belief that you can actually be more lucky, you have to think about it in terms of small things. Like, I know as soon as I get to the mall, no matter how busy it is, I will find myself a parking space. And most likely, you will find that parking space. So I actually like that it's called Lucky Girl Syndrome because it's kind of like you've been infected by something and there's nothing you can do about it because that is now the way you are, right? And people make it seem like it's very easy. It's just an overnight thing where you just wake up and say, you know what? I'm so lucky. I'm the luckiest girl ever. But deep down in your head, you're like, yeah, I'm saying I'm the luckiest girl ever. But deep down, I know that I'm actually not lucky because terrible things always happen to me. So I'm going to try saying I'm the luckiest girl ever. But I know it's not going to happen. No, you want to say it and actually believe it. And the best way to look through this is through confirmation bias. Now, we all have confirmation bias. And this just means that whatever you believe in your heart, in your subconscious mind, you will find proof of, whether it is true or not. So, in the self help community, I see a lot of people always talking about confirmation bias and they reframe it in different ways. And they always make it seem like it's always a positive thing. But naturally, a lot of us have confirmation bias in the opposite direction. We do this with our own lives all the time and we don't even realize it. So, what's going to happen is your brain is going to filter whatever information is going into your brain and make sure it matches to whatever your subconscious believes is true. Whether it is true or not has nothing to do with it. So, a perfect example of confirmation bias and how your brain can actually choose to focus on things that you believe or things that you want or when you decide that you want something, anything. It could be a new toaster, it could be a new dress, or you could watch this video and say, oh, I really like that shirt. It's so nice and floral. I think I want to buy that exact same top. And now you've decided that as soon as you finish watching this video, you're going to find this top and you're going to buy it. What's going to happen is you will go on Instagram and you probably start seeing maybe this exact same top or similar tops everywhere. And you start saying, how does Instagram know what I'm thinking? I just thought that I wanted this top, and now all of a sudden I'm seeing it all over Instagram. And then you go to the mall, and suddenly you're gonna be like, how come this top is just all of a sudden so popular? Like, I haven't been seeing it around for all this time, and all of a sudden, now that I decide that I want it, somehow everybody has one. Probably those ads were already there. I know we do get targeted ads a lot of the time, but I'm talking about if you think about it, not even saying it, right? It's because now your mind is focusing because you want it it's filtering out all the other shirts that are not interesting anymore. Any black shirts, any plain white shirts. As soon as you see a shirt with red flowers and a little bit of pops of green, your eyes are there now because your brain, your subconscious mind knows that you are looking out for it. So, this is actually how your brain can help you become more lucky because you will actually be looking for it. And this is one of the things I want to focus on, and this is the power of your words. We are so used to talking for ages and saying things to people all the time that we don't even realize that a lot of the things that we say are very, very negative and they affect the way we shape things, even if we don't realize it. For example, saying things like, I'm so unlucky, all men are the same, money is so difficult, I'm always broke, I'm terrible with directions, I'm so forgetful, things like that. So, your brain always wants to be in alignment with what you think. If you are not in alignment with your thoughts, there's always going to be a disconnect. So your brain is going to find a way to match it up. I'll give you an example of two things that I personally used to say that I don't say anymore. One was, I have no sense of direction. And that is because I had a lot of evidence to say that I am extremely bad with directions. You could put me in the middle of the road after we have just walked to a place. As soon as we walk out, like I don't remember which direction we came from, or I'd be driving somewhere and someone clearly explains the directions to me and I would still be confused. But now, as soon as I started driving, I said, you know what? I'm not going to say I'm terrible with directions anymore because it's going to be very difficult for me to learn things and remember where I'm going. And I never really told anyone, like, I'm actually not terrible with directions anymore. But now, even just last week, I was driving somewhere with my mom and we were going to a place where we had never been before. And I was like, yeah, I think it should be around this place and this place. And then I turned and then we got to the place like really quickly. And she was like, oh, you're getting better with directions now. Like you're actually good with directions. And I said, yeah, I'm not bad with directions anymore. So I changed the way I thought about that. The second thing is something that I dealt with a long time ago, and this is saying the words I'm broke. You will never hear me say I'm broke. I may say I currently don't have the money, or the money that I have, I don't wish to use it on this specific thing, but I will never say I'm broke. Even if I have 0.00 in my bank account, I just don't have the money in my possession at this moment. But I am not broke. I do not identify as a broke person. No matter how little money I have, I will never be broke. And so that is something I identify with. If I constantly say I'm broke, even when I have money, I will have that scarcity mindset that I still don't have enough money. I'm broke. Even when I see videos like broke girl skincare routine, broke girl makeup, I will never click on that video. No matter how amazing it looks, it just immediately turns me off. If someone says affordable makeup, or I don't even like the word cheap, but if people say affordable makeup, really good drugstore makeup, I might even pick the drugstore option over the high end option. It's not about the money, but it's about the language that you associate with it. Like, I'm not a broke person. Why will I be using broke girl makeup? Show me drugstore makeup. I will absolutely use a $2 concealer, no problem. But I am not a broke person. Okay, so how to overcome this? I know that it's easy to just say, stop thinking that, but it's not actually easy to just immediately change your thoughts because your thoughts are usually a pattern that you've built over time and you've been thinking like that for a really long time. That's why you believe it. So if you want to change your mindset, I would suggest you start by doing an exercise. And this is over the next 2 days to 1 week. Do not be judgmental towards yourself. Just observe your language. This is something that really helped me. I think it was after listening to Tony Robbins or reading maybe Jen Sincero. But I did this exercise where over a week I would just listen to the words that I say without judgment and just acknowledge it. Kind of like if you're meditating, if you've ever meditated, if you have like a thought that passes through your mind, or even if you're praying, sometimes you might have a very terrible thought pass through your mind. You're not going to start dwelling on that thought. You're just going to be like, okay, that was not such a great thought. Let's just let that go away and get back to the vision at hand. Okay. So this is what you're going to do as you speak. Just having conversations with your friends. Just be aware of things you say, like, "Yeah, I'm so broke," or that bag is so nice, but I can't afford it. I'm so lazy. Oh, I could never go to the gym 5 days in a week. I've got no energy for that. Just little tiny things that you say that you don't even realize. Like I could never make that much money. All those kind of things. Just take note of them. Don't like attack yourself for thinking them because you've already been thinking them for years. Get a piece of paper and then think about the hardest topics, whether that's like friendships, relationships, money. Those are usually like the top, also confidence or your body image. These are sort of like the top, strongest emotions that we have when we think about things that we can do and things that we can't do. So let's take money because this is universal, right? A lot of people deal with money issues, whether it's wanting more money, not having enough money, whatever the issue is. Get a piece of paper and think of the topic. Don't give yourself time to think of every single answer. Just write the first thing that comes to your mind. So when someone says money, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Think about all the things, maybe not that you personally think you think, but the things you have heard around you from most of the people you know growing up. So I'll give you an example of things that I heard when I was growing up about money. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work very hard to make a lot of money. Money is not easy. Nothing in life is free. Money is hard. Money is the root of all evil. At that time in the past, that's what I would have thought. Knowing that I was definitely one of those person, like since I was a child, I would always say, I'm gonna be rich. Like I'm meant to be rich, I'm going to be rich. But still, sometimes you don't know what your subconscious mind thinks. And the first thoughts that pop up maybe your true feelings about that money because it's what you grew up around and you took that information in before you could even filter it out and see if it's logical or not. And then what you want to do after you've made that list is find a way to change those beliefs or at least new beliefs that you want to adopt. So that can be money saves me time, money makes me happy. When I said money makes me happy, I bet a lot of you, the first thought that comes to your head was money doesn't buy happiness, right? And so what's the next thing? Okay, so what does give you happiness? Spending more time with my family, being able to travel, eating food that nourishes my body, being relaxed. Well, what do you need to get all those things done? You won't be able to relax with your family if you're hard at work making money for that nourishing food you want. You need money, right? So find a way to look at all those beliefs that you have and then just change them and then think about every time you have that negative thought like money doesn't grow on trees. You will change that thought to I can make as much money as I want. Whatever makes it sound more believable to you, that is the new thing that you will change it to. Every time you think the negative, change it to the positive thought. I truly believe that money comes to me easily. If money was a person, money would want to be my best friend. Like they would choose to be my best friend. The fourth thing is when you think about being lucky, it's usually in terms of you wanting something. You always need to recognize that you don't actually want the thing, you want the emotion that you get from the thing. When I go to the gym, when I work out, I don't like want to lift heavy things. I want to feel good afterwards. I want to feel proud of myself. So you're chasing the feeling. So know what you want and then figure out what the feeling is. Because if your feeling is, I want that handbag because I want my friends to think I'm cool, or I want people on Instagram to know that I have money, then it will be difficult for you to get it because it's not something you actually want. So once you've decided what you want and why you want it, I would suggest that you write it down and then write it down as if you already have it. This is where we go back to the law of assumption. If you want, you can just speak it out. You can, like, I mean, I live alone, I talk to myself all the time, but you could record a voice note or you could just write it down. I find writing things so much more helpful. I feel like it just goes in my brain more. Now, here is one tip that I don't see people talk about, and I think it is very important to share with you. And this is if you do not believe what you're writing at that specific time, don't write about that. You don't have to write about everything you want in your whole life at once. You can just pick one thing to write about. So, I'll give an example of something I wouldn't write about. If I maybe ate terrible food for the entire week, and by terrible food, I mean food that makes me feel bad and it's not nourishing to my body, right? If I ate that for the entire week, and then I also didn't work out for the entire week. Like I know I have a gym membership, but I didn't go to the gym. I have not been drinking enough water and now I'm getting like breakouts on my face. I'm not going to pick that day to journal about how I'm the hottest person in the world. And when I walk into the room, everybody turns to look at me because I'm so pretty. My skin is so clear. My body is perfect because I have been working so hard. Because I'm already feeling negatively in my body about it because I know I haven't done any of those things or I can't even picture it right now because I feel so terrible. So I'll pick that day if I'm feeling it to journal about something else. Where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're writing about positive things, but deep down you're like, I know I'm writing that I'm the hottest girl in the world, but I haven't been to the gym in 1 week, so I know I feel like trash and this is never gonna happen. You don't want to do that. So I always write down things when I'm actually in the right mindset. So when I want to write about me looking snatched, I am the fittest girl in the room, I am the hottest person I've ever seen. The day when I write about that, I'm going to write that at the day when I've come out of the gym, I did a good leg day. I worked out for 1 hour, I've drank enough water, I ate a good meal, I feel so good and relaxed. In fact, I almost feel sleepy because it's almost bedtime and I know I'm going to have such a good night's sleep. That's the day I'm going to journal because I can literally envision it. I can see it, I can imagine. And as I write it, I can actually feel that excited emotion as if it's already happened. And then I live as if I already have what I have. And now this brings me to aligned action. And out of all the things, all the tips, I think aligned action is the most important thing for the lucky girl syndrome. Taking aligned action means you have to act as if. If you do not, you will not get what you want. And so the best way to do this is figure out what you want, find an example, whether that is fictional or an actual real person, and then imagine what that person would do. So, for example, I am on a fitness journey. I want to be snatched. I want my stomach to touch my back. Okay. I just want to look in the mirror and be like, you are so hot. The best way to take aligned action and to actually believe that indeed you are hot is to act the way that person would act. So for me, I just imagine myself like already there. But if you can't imagine yourself, you can think of someone who you really look up to, Bella Hadid or Beyonce or whoever. But because you don't know their personal lives, I think it's harder for you to attach what they would actually do. I think thinking of the best version of yourself is the best way to go about it. So let's say I'm really craving chocolate right now. I go to my fridge and I open the door and I see the chocolate right there. I'm going to think, would the future fittest, most attractive version of me eat this chocolate right now? The answer is yes, because future me doesn't have an eating disorder. Is future me going to eat the whole bar? No, she's probably just going to eat a piece because you're only craving a little piece. And another important thing to think about when you're thinking about your future self is you're thinking relatively, not exactly. Right now, if I go into a store, let's say it's an Hermes store, right? And I look at this beautiful $10,000 handbag. If I think, would future me buy this $10,000 handbag? You're going to think of it relatively. So, how much do you have at that point versus now? The question you're going to ask yourself is not, would I buy this $10,000 bag? It's going to be, would I be spending beyond my means? If it's beyond your means. Because if I go into a store right now and I look and say, would my future self buy a $10,000 handbag? The answer is probably going to be yes, because like I have millions, $10,000 would not be that much. It would be a really good treat to myself. But now, if I go into a store and say, would future me get a $10,000 handbag? Absolutely. So let me buy it. It's like, no, you don't have a house yet. So what are you doing buying a $10,000 handbag? Future me would treat herself, but still live within her means to maintain the lifestyle that she likes, right? So if you're spending money that you don't have, future you is not going to have it because you're spending it now. You are the same person. So all you need to do is basically just start by creating yourself a little routine or a list of habits that your future self, the person that you want to be, or you can imagine whoever your favorite person is that you look up to and see what they do and then make that your new routine. So, what would the best, most attractive, richest version of me do? She would probably wake up early in the morning, do a skincare routine, go to the gym, come back and eat some really healthy food that not only tastes good but makes you feel good. She's going to have very good friendships. She pays attention to the way that she looks. She makes sure that she takes care of her skin, she takes care of her hair, and then start doing that. You're not just going to all of a sudden wake up 10 years from now and be like, it's here, I'm her, I do everything. No, you have to start doing the things that your future self would do, and then you will become her. And this leads me to gratitude. You should always be grateful for what you have. I actually have received that comment from a lot of people personally. Like when I would say, oh, I want to quit my job when I was working full time, or I would say, I want to make like double the amount of money that I'm making right now. People would say things like, There's people out there who don't have jobs. There's people out there who wish they could have a job that you have, and you are wishing that you didn't have it. And it's like, no, I'm not wishing I didn't have it. I'm not ungrateful for what I have. I just know that I can achieve more. And being grateful for what you have is what's going to help you achieve more. Imagine you are walking in an area and there's this new Italian pizza place that has opened, and there's a man there and he's selling all these different types of pizza, and he's giving out free like slices or half slices so you can taste the flavors, right? If you go there and he gives you the pizza and you take a bite and you're like, pretty good, thanks. And then you walk away or just hang around in the same area, he'll probably be like, oh, thanks, that's nice. I'm sure she's going to come back and buy it. But if you go there and you eat the pizza and you show your genuine appreciation because it's really so good, and you're like, oh my God, this is actually the best pizza I have ever eaten. I'm literally going to come back here every single time I want a pizza because I don't know what you've done, but this is the best pizza ever. That owner is more likely to be like, do you want another slice? And you'll be like, yes, I do. Because you're so grateful, they naturally just want to give you more. And that's the same way you want to think of it. Whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever your belief system is, whatever you believe, if you are grateful for it, because you are so grateful, you will receive more of it. And if you feel like what you're doing is not helpful, then it only helps more people if you get more of what you want, because then you have more to share. You can't give what you don't have. With the lucky girl syndrome, just because you believe good things are always happening to you, it doesn't mean that nothing bad will ever happen ever again. It just means that when something bad happens, you have the ability to reframe it and understand it from a different perspective. If you want more motivational videos like this, make sure to give this video a thumbs up because it's definitely new content for me. Comment below what your ideas are. If you are one of the lucky girls in this world, I would love to know. Hit my face right there to subscribe, and when I do post another video in this series, I will link it right here. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.